You know, one of the most incredible signs of the end times you hear about is the day the sun will rise from the west. I mean, it's something that completely goes against everything we know about how the cosmos works. But what if the how of it all is described in a way we've just never thought about before? Today, we're diving into a really fascinating theory that suggests a radical new way of thinking about day, night, and the sun itself. It is a completely different way of looking at the sky above us, so let's get right into it. So, yeah, the big question, how will the sun rise from its west? I mean, it sounds completely impossible based on what we know about planetary rotation, right? But the interpretation we're going to walk through today suggests a solution that isn't really about the physics we learn in school. It's about a kind of cosmic drama, a story playing out above our heads every single day. All right, to even begin to get our heads around this, you kind of have to throw out our most basic idea of what day and night are. We're all used to thinking of them simply as the result of the Earth spinning on its axis, right? Sun's out, it's day. It's not, it's night. Well, this whole framework says something totally different. It says that day and night are independent physical beings, almost like celestial entities with their own purpose and their own movement. Now, the foundation for this idea comes from scripture, like this verse from Surah Ash-Shams. And you gotta pay close attention to the language here. It doesn't say the day is the sunlight. It says the day reveals the sun, and the night covers it. That wording is absolutely key. It implies day and night are these active forces that do things to the sun, not just passive effects. So let's just make this crystal clear, because this is the core idea. In this model, day, a nahar, is the entity that literally brings forth the sun, and a night, a layl, is the one that hides it or covers it up. See how that just flips everything on its head? The sun doesn't create the day. This being called day shows up and unveils the sun for all of us to see. Okay, so if day and night are these separate entities, then what are they actually doing up there? Well, from this perspective, they're locked in this never-ending chase, a great celestial race happening all around our planet. So let's take a look at how that race works right now, in our time. This verse from Surah Yasin really sets the rules for this race. That line, "Nor is the night a predecessor of the day," is seen as this fundamental law of the cosmos. Night can never overtake day. It's just not possible. They're in a constant chase, each, as it says, swimming in its own orbit, but the order is totally fixed. Day is always the one doing the chasing. And this chart just brilliantly lays out the mechanics of that race, so check it out. Both day and night are currently traveling in the same direction, from east to west. But, and this is the critical difference, day is just plain faster. It makes a full orbit in about 24 hours. Night, on the other hand, is slower. It takes about 36 hours. And that speed difference is exactly why day is always catching up to and passing night, but night can never, ever catch up to day. So how does a race turn into a sunrise? Well, this model describes it as this really physical interaction. As the faster entity, day, catches up to night from the east, their layers, and they're described as each having 7 layers, they start to interleave or mesh together. And it's that physical mingling that actually reveals the sun to us. Then, as day keeps moving on its faster journey past night, those layers get stripped away, and that's what conceals the sun again. That's our sunset. Okay, so now we've got a picture of how things work now. We have the current cosmic order. But for the sun to rise from the west, this entire system, this whole race, has to be fundamentally broken. Something big has to happen to change the rules. So the problem is pretty clear, right? If day is always coming up from the east to show us the sun, how on earth could the sun possibly show up in the west first? It doesn't make sense. Either day has to change its path or night has to. And the source text we're looking at proposes a very, very specific answer. And the clue, at least according to this viewpoint, is hidden in a single powerful word from this verse in Surah Al-Mudaththir. The line says, "the night when it retreats," or in the original Arabic, "id adbara." Everything, the entire theory, hinges on the meaning of that one word, adbara. It's seen as the trigger for this whole monumental event. So what does adbara mean here? Well, the interpretation is that it's not just a retreat, it is a total reversal. The entity of night, which has been racing from east to west for who knows how long, will suddenly, dramatically reverse its course and start moving from west to east. And day just keeps on its normal path. And with that single change, the entire cosmic order as we know it is shattered. This reversal, this U-turn by the entity of night, is the event that finally sets the prophecy in motion. So let's walk through exactly how this cosmic collision would actually unfold. And here it is. This is the final piece of the puzzle. Night is now moving from the west. Day is still chugging along from the east. They're on a collision course. And suddenly, their meeting point isn't in the east anymore. It's on the complete opposite side of the planet. So when the layers of day start to interleave with the layers of night, it happens in the west, which means the sun is revealed there first. And just like that, the sun rises from the west.
And what's amazing is that the verses that immediately follow the description of night's retreat, they tell us its significance. This event is one of the greatest signs, a huge, profound warning to all of humanity. So this celestial mechanic isn't just some astronomical curiosity. It's presented as an event with immense spiritual and theological weight.
Now, it's really important to mention that this entire explanation, this whole model, is based on the specific cosmological interpretations laid out by Abdullah Boufim in his book, The Sun is Subject to Night and Day. It's a very unique framework that's built on a literal reading of these particular scriptural verses. So what do we take away from all this? I mean, this theory presents a cosmos that's alive, it's active, it's dramatic, and it's driven by forces that go way beyond simple mechanics. And it really leaves us with a fascinating question to chew on. If you just accept the premise for a second, that day and night are these distinct physical entities locked in a cosmic race, what other mysteries of the universe might you start to see in a completely new light?